Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Divesh. Good morning, Divesh.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Arush. We will wait for 2 minutes, children, for everyone to join in. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So, good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Kindly, everyone, keep their videos on so that I can see you. Keep your videos on, kids.
I'm opening in a minute. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Karthik. Good morning, Divesh. Good morning, Mansa. Mansa, you have reduced a lot. You're looking very slim and different. Your new haircut. So, whatever we have read yesterday, have you understood?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Harpreet.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes. So I'm asking, have you understood all that which we have read yesterday? Any doubt in it? Any doubts? Any confusions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Fine then. Let us begin.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, madam. So yesterday we started with the chapter India in the medieval period, right? We discussed a little bit about it. Okay. Have you started the reading yesterday or not?
Yes, ma'am. We
Yes,
finished the
ma'am, we
first paragraph.
started. Yes, ma'am, we started.
Okay, I think we have done the medieval period. We have to take it up from understanding the terms and the meanings. Harsh?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
We start from here. Only first. Yes.
from medieval period or Tiksh?
Yes, ma'am. Medieval period, second paragraph to make a study of the medieval.
Yes, ma'am. We finished till
Fine.
first paragraph of medieval
Okay.
period.
So as we have yesterday discussed that in this class, we're going to study about the medieval period. So that accordingly, the authors have first made a chapter which will help us understand what medieval period is. What were the differences there? What were the developments which happened in the medieval period? We will read all of them later in the coming further chapters. But in this chapter, what our job is to do is, our job is to understand, right, what this medieval period was, what are the major things happened in this period, how this period was divided into, and so on, right? So Yesterday we read what medieval period is, and I told you to come up with the definition of medieval period. Who will tell me?
Yes.
Raise your hands. Only Akhish has raised his hand. Yes. Okay. Yes, Kashvi.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. What do you mean by medieval period?
Ma'am, the period which comes in between ancient and modern period, which starts from 8th century to 18th century.
Very good. Right. The time period which lies between 8th to 18th century, you could have said. Okay, and I think that's the apt definition which she has given. Anybody else has something extra to add or something different? Yes, Arsh?
Ma'am, in it is, if we say the medieval period, in only two words we can say these are the Middle Ages, and the Middle Ages is the middle period of the three traditional division of the Western history.
Fine. Anyone else has anything else to add? No. Fine, you can put your hands down. Right? So, to make a study of the like we read this and we got very easily understood that the time period which lies between the ancient and the modern period, okay, from 8th to 18th century is known as the medieval period, right? But as we can see, like from 8th to 18th century is not a short amount of time, right? It is indeed a large amount of time. So, and in this time also, some
Good
very
morning, ma'am.
good morning. Some very different developments have taken place, right? So, in order to make the study of the medieval period easier, right, and to know about its politics, society, economy, and religion, the historians have further subdivided the period into early medieval and later medieval period, right? These are the two further divisions which they have done. What have they done? Early medieval period and later medieval period, right? For example, we have read about three divisions yesterday. That was ancient, medieval, and modern. So, उसके बाद medieval period के दो subdivisions करेंगे. That will be early medieval period and later medieval period. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts? Okay.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Now we'll talk about both of them one by one. First, we'll talk about the early medieval period, and then we'll discuss about the later medieval period, right? So, Rishit, can you please read out what is early medieval period?
Okay, ma'am. The early medieval period extended from 8th to 12th century, which the palace Pratiharas,
Palas. Which
Rush,
the Palas? These are the names of dynasties. Okay. Palas,
Rashtrakutas, Cholas, and early rulers dominated the political, and socio-economic history country.
of the country, right? So basically, the early medieval, the time period which lies from 8th century to 12th century is known as the early medieval period. What is it known as?
Early medieval.
Early medieval
And I think I don't need to
Early
explain it much because the reason is well defined that why is it known as early medieval period, right? Because these are the time period of the these are the early years, right? Okay.
Yes,
Then there were these dynasties which he has just read, which were prevalent in the country during this period. And the dynasties which are prevalent in this period were Palas, Pratiharas, Rashtrakutas, Cholas, and early rulers, right? These were the all who dominated the political and social economic history of the country, right? So during the early medieval period, these were the dynasties which were prevalent, which were active, and which were powerful in the country. In which country we're talking about?
India. India.
India.
India.
Well done. Now, Atesh, can you please read out the later medieval period for me?
Okay, ma'am. The later medieval period extended from 13th to 18th century. During this period, the Turks established the Delhi Sultanate. The regional kingdoms emerged after the end of the Delhi Sultanate, and the Mughals largely dominated the Indian history.
Right. So now these noun terms are still familiar to you, right? Like, and the ones which we are talking, Palas, Pratiharas, you have read about them in, you'll be reading about them in today. But these we are very familiar with the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughals, right? Like you must have heard the name of Alauddin Khilji. Have you heard of his name?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, he
ma'am.
was a very
Yes,
cruel
ma'am.
ruler.
He belongs to dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate, whereas Shah Jahan belongs to
Mughal dynasty.
Mughal dynasty.
Right. Okay. So Turks means the people who have come from Turkey, right? So these people had come from Turkey and later on established themselves in India, right? Okay. The Delhi Sultanate wala people. Okay. Now, but by the end of it, Mughals, like by the end of the Delhi Sultanate, it was the Mughals which largely dominated the Indian history. And after Mughals came who children?
Britishers.
Britishers, right?
British.
Very good. So I think this is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
ma'am.
Cool. Now let's come to understanding the terms and their meanings. Okay, Divyanshi, read. Divyanshi,
Yes, ma'am.
read.
Understanding the term.
Louder, but I cannot hear you. I will keep the mic closer to your mouth.
Understanding the terms and their meanings. If the relevance of the information
Relevance, not relevance. Relevance.
relevance of the information produced changes with the time, then imagine about its language and meaning. In case of historical records which exist in variety of languages have also changed over the years. Example, medieval Persian in different from modern Persian. The difference is not just with regards to grammar and vocabulary, but the meaning of the words have also changed.
Very good, Divyanshi.
The
Right. So here they have said that if the relevance of the information प्रोड्यूस चेंजेस अगर कोई भी हमने इंफॉर्मेशन की है उसकी रेलेवेंस चेंज हो गई है पहले हम कुछ और इंफॉर्मेशन लाए थे बट नाउ दैट इंफॉर्मेशन हैज चेंज टू समथिंग एल्स सो उसी चीज का लैंग्वेज और उसका मीनिंग भी चेंज होता है राइट इन केस ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल वर्ड रिकॉर्ड्स अगर हम हिस्टोरिकल रिकॉर्ड्स की बात करें सो अर्लियर द वर्ड्स व्हिच दे हैव यूज्ड मस्ट हैव बीन यूज्ड टू डिपिक्ट समथिंग एल्स एंड नाउ दोस वर्ड्स ओनली मस्ट बी यूज्ड टू डिपिक्ट समथिंग एल्स राइट So, in case of languages, in case of historical record, which exist in variety languages, have also changed over time. Like medieval Persian is different from modern Persian, right? Medieval Persian language is very different from the modern Persian language. There's a huge difference between the two, right? And the difference is just not with regard to the grammar and vocab, but the meanings of words have also changed. Now I'll give you an example. You know what a computer is, right, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Very, very good.
Yes.
Everybody knows what a computer is. Now, kids, tell me one thing. When the computers were made first, right? What were they used for?
RAM for
Processing.
For calculations.
Very good.
keeping records,
No,
keeping
not
programming.
No. Not programming.
Calculation.
Only and only
Ma'am,
for doing
calculation.
calculations, right? Firstly, they were made only for doing calculations. That is why they were named computers. Compute meaning क्या होता है? Compute means to calculate, right? Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and were the early computers the same as the computers which we see today?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
They are used.
No,
They
ma'am.
were very different. They used to be very huge, right? So earlier, the term computer was made for a huge machine which is used for doing calculations. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I making
Yes,
sense?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But nowadays, is it the same? Do we use computers for calculation?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No,
It is
ma'am.
exactly opposite. We use computers for everything except calculation. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am, because there are
Yes,
calculators for
ma'am.
calculations.
Because they are travel
Yes, ma'am.
calculators, and n number of things we have. We have our mobile phones. We mostly calculate in them, right? So here, can you realize one thing, that the meaning of the term was some device which is useful in computing, but now the same word is used for a device which help us to do multiple things, which help us to listen songs, watch movies, talk to people, and do whatever we want, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So have you with this
Ma'am.
example, have you realized the fact that meaning of the words change with time, right? Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Hargun, read next.
Okay. The meaning of the words change over the years. Take, for example, Hindustan. Today, when we use the word, it conveys the meaning India is a sovereign and secular republic. When Siraj, uh, the 13th
Minhaj is
century
Siraj. Where Minhaj is Siraj.
Okay. Century colonial who wrote in Persian used the word Hindustan. Uh, he intended to denote the lands between Ganga and Yamuna. Used the term to express the area under the Delhi Sultanate. When Delhi Sultanate extended its hold, the term Hindustan included the areas as well. Hence, for him, Delhi Sultanate was synonymous with Hindustan. However, the term never included South India. In 16th century, when Babur came to India, he used the term Hindustan to include the geography, flora and fauna, and culture of the
People.
people of this subcontinent. The idea of geography and culture entity exists at that time, but the term Hindustan did not carry any uh,
Political.
political meaning which we associate it with today.
See, like I gave you the example of computers, right, kids? But say, Vivan, you need to be attentive in order to understand, right? So, kids, like I gave you the example of computers, the book where people have given the
Yes,
example
ma'am.
of Hindustan. What is Hindustan?
Ma'am, India.
India, our
Ma'am,
country.
it is the
Ma'am, India.
Hindi name of India.
Hindustan is Arabic word which is used for India.
Right? Hindustan is India in easy words, right? And now is India the same it was around 5 to 6 or 7 centuries ago?
No, ma'am.
Is it the same? Is it the same
Ma'am, because
No,
India
ma'am.
which
No,
was there in
ma'am.
the 12th century? No. India nowadays is an independent democratic body which have economic power, social power, political power, and so on. Right? But like today we use the word to convey the meaning India is a sovereign and secular republic. Sovereign का मतलब क्या होता है? Sovereign means no exterior power can come and rule over us. Right? Is it right? What is the meaning of
Yes,
secular?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the meaning of secular?
Some country with all the religions.
What? You don't know the meaning of secular?
Ma'am, not connected with the
Secular means
religious
tolerating
faiths.
all the religions, right? In India, in our country, everyone is allowed to follow whichever religion they want to, right? I am a Hindu right now, but in case I just want to convert myself into Christianity, can somebody come and stop me?
No,
Or
ma'am.
if I am
No, ma'am.
No,
if
ma'am.
you are a Hindu, I am a Christian, and my friend is a Muslim, or my other friend is a Sikh. Is it like that? Okay, the Hindus are gonna get more power, and the Muslims and the other ones are gonna get less. Is it like that?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No.
ma'am.
In
No,
our
ma'am.
country, every religion is
Ma'am.
treated as equal. It doesn't matter whichever religion you follow, propagate, you will be treated as a citizen of India. So now India is a sovereign and secular republic. But when Minhaj-e-Siraj, the 13th century chronicler, who wrote in Persian, chroniclers are the people who write chronicles. Okay? They were known as chroniclers. On the next page, you can find the meaning of the term as well. Okay, right? Okay, so when Minhaj-e-Siraj, which was relevant to the topic anyway. Okay, wait a minute now. So then when yeah, sorry, I was trying to. Yes, Minhaj-e-Siraj. Who was Minhaj-e-Siraj, children? Minhaj-e-Siraj was a chronicler. Yeah, so who has found the meaning of chronicler? It's given on next page.
Yes.
Page of the book.
Order of which
Ma'am, a written record of history.
Hanji,
Ma'am, a written record of historical event.
that are chronicles, right?
Yes, ma'am. They used to record the history of the rulers.
Very good, right? Chroniclers were the person who used to record the history of the rulers. So Minhaj-e-Siraj again was a chronicler. We used to write in Persian. And he used the word Hindustan to denote the lands between Ganga and Yamuna. For him, Hindustan was majorly the area which lies between Ganga and Yamuna, right? And he used the term to express the area under Delhi Sultanate, right? So Delhi Sultanate के अंदर जो भी area आता था, right? Minhaj-e-Siraj has used the term Hindustan to denote that area. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Now, when Delhi Sultanate extended its hold, जब Delhi Sultanate का area under power बढ़ता था, then all those areas were also considered as a part of Hindustan. Hence, for him, Delhi Sultanate was synonymous to Hindustan. What's the meaning of being synonymous?
Similar words.
Similar word.
Ma'am,
Similar words. For him, Delhi Sultanate
similar
means
words.
Hindustan, right? Which included the areas as well, right? And yeah. Now, however, the term never included South India. And at that point of time, Hindustan never included South India, right? Okay. Yes. But when Babur came in 16th century to India, he used the term in some other context. Abhi tak we have read that Minhaj-e-Siraj has used the term Hindustan just to denote the area which lies between Yamuna and Ganga, and which is under the control of
Delhi Sultanate.
Delhi Sultanate.
Exactly.
Exactly. But when Babur came to India in 16th century, he used the term Hindustan to include the geography, flora and fauna, and culture of the people of the subcontinent. What do you mean by flora and fauna?
Ma'am, plants and animals.
And the
Flowers.
plants and animals.
Very good.
Plants and animals.
Flora means
Plants and the wildlife.
flora means plants and fauna means animals. So
Animals.
he included the geography of the country, the plants, the animals, and the culture of the people as meaning of Hindustan, right? Okay. So the idea of geography and culture entity existed at that time. वो आज भी है, आज भी हम ऐसे use करते हैं इस term को. But there is one difference. Today we also include politics in it, but at that point of time, it did not carry any political meaning. When we begin with the definition of the country of Hindustan, we'll say it is a democratic country, right? But it was not mentioned back then, right? Is it clear to hear?
Yes, sir.
So this was one example of
Yes.
Hindustan, right? I hope you have understood it. Any doubts you
Yes,
have? You can feel free to ask children. Is there anything you have not understood? Okay, fine. Yes. Okay, Rupanchi, read next.
Okay, ma'am. The meaning of the words kept changing with time. Another interesting example could be the word foreigner. As we understand it today, it means someone who is not an Indian. In medieval period, a foreigner was a person who was not a part of the society or culture. The people living in the same village were not foreigners, although they had different religions and castes. The historians today have to be careful about the terms they use because they may denote different meaning and things in the present context.
Right. So again, I have given you two examples already. One was of the computer. The second one was of Hindustan. Now there is a third example, which is of the word foreigner. So even if I ask you, who's a foreigner, children?
Other
Some
people who
Other
came to
countries.
India from another country.
Outside India,
People who
abroad
come
country.
from other countries.
Right.
People
Foreigner is
who
a
come
person
from
who comes
other
from a
countries.
foreign land. Foreign land means to some other country, right? That is what it means. The person who is
Yes,
not
ma'am.
an Indian, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But in the medieval period, a foreigner was a person who was not a part of the society or culture, right? If any person, for example, if I am living in North India and a person who belongs to the South, in the culture of South India, comes to my place, I will consider him as a foreigner. Got it?
This one.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
Yes,
Right. So the people living in the same village were not foreigners, although they had different religions and castes. Right. The historians today have to be very careful about the terms they use because they may denote different meanings and things in present context. The term if they're using, which was used in the history, that same term might be used in a very different context now. So while maintaining the records, while they're writing the records, the historians have to be very, very, very careful about the words they choose. Is it clear? Any doubts to have?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Sure.
Doubts.
Sorry, how do historians reconstruct their past? Okay, for that I have to show you two activities. Like we will be reading about they use coins to reconstruct their past, they use manuscripts and this and that. So I want to show you how to make, how to make medieval coins and manuscripts. Okay, so do me a favor, all of you, read this paragraph by yourself. In the meantime, I'll show you the video. First, read this paragraph quickly. Everyone, hurry up. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see my screen, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in this video, he'll show you how to make medieval coins. Can you hear this audio as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now pay
Oh,
attention.
ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's
Audio is
very
very
low.
low. Ma'am, you did not share audio, ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's very low.
You can have a look at it and then later you can use by yourself. See, I'll tell you what is he using. He has made a dough. Like you might have seen your mother making a dough. Where you can make it with flour, with white flour, right? That's what he has. And now he's gonna make coins with it. See, he has made this coin. Now he's doing some sort of inscriptions on it. Right? Once he has made the coin, he has done the designing, he'll bake it now. He's putting it to get it baked. So he put it to get baked. And now the coins will harden up, right? See, that's how the coin has become. He has stuck to 2 coins with one dough again. And later on he'll just paint it up. See, using a marker pen, he's coloring it. You can see it's a black marker. And now he is just giving it different shades. So, and now he's putting something over it to just make it look more raw. So children, this is one thing by how with the help of which you can make. Can you see this coin now? Is the coin visible to you kids? Look at the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This
Yes,
is how you
ma'am.
have to make the coins. Will you be able to make the coins? Can you
Yes,
bring them
ma'am.
to school on Monday?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Teachers,
ma'am.
will you be able to bring them to school on Monday?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right. Okay. Just like we have made these coins, similarly, there's also a way to make manuscripts. Like there are many ways. Okay. Here, you know what you have to do is like see DIY vintage paper. You all have drunk coffee. Take a paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, only cold coffee.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Take
Yes,
a
ma'am.
paper. Mix coffee with
Ma'am, now
water.
I'm drinking.
Mix coffee with water. Right. And then what you have to do is just cover the entire paper with coffee. Right. So what will happen is that, see, can you see these papers? Can you see how raw do they look?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So these papers have been made at home. See. Now you might be wondering, she's mixing coffee with water, right? She makes some water with coffee. Okay. And then what is gonna she do is, she has taken a piece of paper, right? A4 sheet of paper. We all have it. Now
Yes,
she's
ma'am.
tearing off
ma'am.
the edges.
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
tearing off the edges to give it a raw look, right? By hand. Now she'll burn the edges, and you have to do this very carefully. See how is she burning the edges. Can you see it, kids? So you have to do it so lightly so that it must not
Yes,
catch
ma'am.
fire, right? Even if it's catching fire, you need to tap it off. Otherwise, the entire paper will burn. Clear? Is it clear to see?
Yes, ma'am.
After doing it, you have to crumble the paper now. She has crumbled the paper. Can anyone tell me why has she crumbled the paper?
So that
Give
it
it a raw
will
look like it is.
Give it more
Ma'am,
raw look.
to make
And now
a look of
she's gonna
every
paint the
time.
paper with coffee. Now you see the wonders coffee does to paper. Can you see that tint the paper is getting? Isn't it looking wonderful?
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Such easy tasks they are to do.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you just let it be to get it dry. Once it is dried, that's how it looks. Isn't it wonderful, kids? Isn't it looking like a real
Yes,
manuscript?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Isn't it?
Ma'am, I made these vintage papers
Oh,
on the
wow,
same
very
video.
nice. Very nice.
Ma'am, like they can be also make from brown cover.
But then you just need, like with this coffee, you'll get more raw look. The brown cover may look like brown cover, and the brown cover is very, actually the A4 sheet, which like the drawing A4 sheet which you use, that's a bit hard. If you people have noticed, I'm not talking about the A4
Yes,
printing
ma'am. It
paper.
will be
No,
hard.
not the printing paper, because that paper is very light, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
Yes,
A4
ma'am.
sheet which we use in a printer is very light, but
Ma'am,
the
art
A4
sheet
sheets, but the A4 sheets which we use for projects, they are hard, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now
ma'am,
see what
like
she's
scrap
doing.
paper.
Oh, see, she's also making a seal. She has just taken 2 wax crayons, melted them, and now they'll work as seal.
Ma'am, for seal, we have to also make stamp.
No, she has not even made stamp. Look at her. Oh yeah, she has used a stamp. She has used a dried flower. She put it over. You might have seen this over these videos, no?
Yes, ma'am, many videos come.
But it is very nice, no? Wow, it's looking wonderful, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So is it something which even we can make?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So on Monday,
ma'am.
can I expect you people to bring 1 manuscript and at least 2 coins each?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. See, now I showed you one. Now I have given you an idea. Now you can go